What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew. And in lieu of there not being a game to preview this week for the Cats and the Paul James Show subsequently not going to air, I wanted to put together something else for you today to enjoy off the back of some comments made by Kane Cornes in the last week. And of course, I know he can be a very polarizing figure and he can make some really outlandish comments. And this time, he suggested that Cats fans are the most spoiled supporter base in the competition. And I want to pick through that because I've certainly seen some responses on the internet where people have really bristled up at that. There's been lots of other non-Geelong supporters, of course, who've been coming at us for it. And I want to pick through it and I want to break down a few barriers around this particular conversation because there's a nugget of something to what Kane Cornes has said that I think we really need to sit on, stew on, and analyze a little bit. So we'll do all of that in this video after a quick word from our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, before we get into what Kane Cornes said, and he referred to us as the most spoilt group of supporters in the competition, I want to actually pick through what it means to kind of be spoilt. Now, of course, there's kind of the spoilt brat sort of energy and where we whinge and whine and you throw the baby out with the bathwater, you spit the dummy, all of those other metaphors and phrases. And there's that lens to it. But also, you can just be really spoiled in terms of there's like you've got this bounty of riches. And the reality of this is that I think Kane is right through both lenses. And I think there's a really clear and obvious reason as to why people might be carrying on this way. And I'm not saying it's okay. Let's make sure that's really clear. Kane Cornes is, of course, speaking about, and I was pretty flat and disappointed about this as well, the Geelong fans who are jeering Gryan Miers. He had a really bad game against Brisbane the other day. He was missing a lot of his targets, had a pretty rough time of it. And there was one scenario where he got the ball, was kind of in the defensive, like the half-back flank, got the ball, chipped it, hit the target. Bronx cheer from the supporter base. It was awful. I could not stand it. It's what caught Kane's eye. And I actually don't blame him for having a crack at people for that. This is a guy who's given so much to the club, who's done such a wonderful job now for many years. He's an excellent player. He's been one of our best all season. He absolutely had a dirty day. And I don't blame anyone within the supporter base for, I guess, maybe feeling a sense of relief when he hit the target. Maybe a sigh of relief. That would have made sense. Probably wouldn't have been picked up by the microphones. But a sigh of relief would have made some sense. But to to jeer the guy was just not on. Like it's not respectful. So let's now pick through where this energy potentially comes from. Well, we'll start with a conversation around Gryan, where it was only a few years ago, and I'm flashing back to say 2021, where he was the punching bag of the Geelong supporter base because he had this quirky kicking action. He wasn't necessarily delivering to the levels that people wanted him to. And so people were on his case constantly. And then 2022 came along and he became this absolute rock star. And the goal assists started flowing. He started hitting the scoreboard more often himself. He was doing a phenomenal job. And all of a sudden, all of that was forgotten by people. And to be fair, I think the concerns were well and truly overblown in the past as well. But for some reason, he became the punching bag. People went after him. They've left him alone the last few years. And then he has one bad game. And all of a sudden, this little nugget of something that was here or here that kind of prompted you to jeer him, to stir him. And I'm sorry, I'm saying you, the royal, not individualized here. That prompted people to stir him back in the day suddenly came flying back out again when he had one bad game. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous from Cats fans. And I was really, really disappointed in the night. And I do not blame Kane Cornes in any way, shape, or form for having a crack at people for that behavior. It was ridiculous. We are better than that. And we should be treating our players better than that. So if you were someone who jeered him, who gave him that Bronx cheer, when he hit the target there. Please go take a look at yourself and do better. We're here to support our players, to help lift them up. In a game like that where things were going against us, you want to get around your boys. You don't want to stir them up and heckle them when they finally do something or they finally hit a target. I get you're frustrated, but it doesn't make things better. It only makes things worse. It's all about what's going on between the ears, and you've got to treat your players better than that. Beyond that, let's talk about the other half of the conversation about Geelong supporters potentially being spoilt, because this was an isolated incident, the Gryan Miers thing. But there's got to be an underlying rationale as to why Kane would quickly jump to referring to us as being a spoilt bunch of fans. And in this respect, I also agree that we are spoilt, but this is through the other lens of like a bounty of riches, have been really fortunate, have had it really good. You know, someone who's really rich, and I'm talking like financially rich in the real world, outside of football, they're spoilt, they're lucky. And Geelong has been really lucky for 20 plus years now. Hell, we can even cast our eyes back to the 90s, really, 80s and 90s. We weren't winning premierships. We were always there and thereabouts. If you're a supporter of the Geelong Football Club, you knew that more often than not, in any given season, your team was going to have a winning record at the end of the season. And that's huge. And then since 2004, when we first really broke out for that prelim final against Brisbane, right up until obviously that moment where Daniel Bradshaw kind of broke our hearts. Still hurts a little bit. I was there that day. But ever since that moment, Geelong has been a team who has dominated the competition. You know, we hear about Chris Scott's winning record. It's like 70%. Mark Thompson's from that point onwards would have been crazy high as well. Geelong supporters have had it really, really good for a very long time, an unusual amount of time. And it's why in some parts people try and criticize and suggest salary cap bullshit and all those sort of stupid, really genuinely stupid reasons and theories about the Cats. But we've had it so good for such a long time. And I feel like that gets lost when all of a sudden Geelong has a bad game, or all of a sudden we don't make the finals for one season and all the walls are falling down. We get so quick to criticize because it's not at the absolute highest level that we've become so accustomed to. That all of a sudden it's sack the coach, it's drop this player, drop that player. No, we need to give them time. Trust in the club, trust in what they're doing. Because I see that commentary when we lose. And sometimes it's a bad loss. And sometimes there's room for criticism, of course. But it's the melodrama that comes with it sometimes. It is just so overblown and it is so incredibly frustrating and unwarranted off the back of one loss or one bad season. Maybe there are areas for improvement and we can be constructive about those, but we don't need to scream, shout, rant and rave like we've been this North Melbourne or Carlton Football Club for 20 years who has been achieving nothing. We've had it so good. Please do not lose sight of that if you are one of those Cats fans who gets ultra negative after a loss. We are better than that. Our club is better than that, and they deserve better than that from us as well. So that's my take on what Kane Cornes had to say. It's multifaceted for sure, and I do stand by him in the sense that the behaviour directed at Gryan Miers on the weekend was horribly inappropriate. And we are better than that and should do better than that. Support our players. Don't pull them down. They are better. Please, if you can get out on that ground and do better than them, by all means, nominate for the draft, get selected, and be an AFL rock star. But most of you aren't going to be that. So leave them alone. Thank you, everyone, for having tuned in. Sorry if I've potentially struck a nerve with a few of you, but Kane Cornes is kind of right about this, and we can and should do better. Thank you all for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, subscribe to The Hoops Crew, like this video, share it with your friends and family, get the word out there about all the content we're creating. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/The Hoops Crew, where you can subscribe for 7 days of free trial access and get all of our early access content, our exclusives, our extended videos as well. And then if you enjoy that and you want to stick around beyond those 7 days, it costs $5 a month to continue to get all of that content delivered to your email inbox. I'm on socials at Paul James Games. That's Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew is at The Hoops Crew. And until next time, remain Geelong strong, everyone. Please be good to our players, be good to our coaches, be good to each other. And I'll see you later.